Hey everyone, what is up? So today we are continuing on with the training session in Pokemon Blue Randomized. We'll be doing this probably for this episode and another episode as well, seeing as how we're not even close to level 40 on most of our characters, most of our Pokemon. I at least want to get to probably around 36, 37 with all of them. And so that's something I want to do. But in the meantime, what we're going to be doing is again listening to some music in the background, and I'm going to be using the speed up accelerator in the uh, what is this? The emulator. Be using it in the emulator to speed up the game so we can fly through this a lot faster. And I'll be answering some questions about random things. So it is totally random questions that will help you start a conversation and also keep it going. We did a couple questions last time. I'll continue on with the questions. So with that, I will start the music and we will continue on. So we're up to question 13 now. And it is when is the last time you can remember feeling totally at peace? Feeling totally at peace. I think the last time I felt totally at peace was when I got super drunk, drank like 15 or 16 shots in college, or 15 or 16 drinks in college. And I was trying to break my limit or my cap of 16 drinks in one night. I tried to beat it, got to 15, and my roommates cut me off. I just remember laying on the ground. Like when I lay on the ground like that, when you're super drunk, you're completely at peace. It is probably the most peaceful time you'll ever feel. If you're not feeling at peace and you're of age to be drinking, I'd probably advise saying take shots all the way up to the point where it's like, you can keep it down, like you can keep your alcohol down, but you know that you're so drunk that the room is spinning a bit. Put on some light electronic dance music, like what we're listening to, and just vibe. Just lay on the ground and vibe. It is probably the most peaceful you'll ever feel. So that's something I would recommend doing. So question 14 is, which of the 7 wonders of the world do you want to visit most? I don't know what the 7 wonders are. I was never geographically inclined, so I don't know what the 7 wonders are. So I guess I'm gonna have to pass on this question, just because I don't know what they are. But if anything, my goal nowadays is to visit all the places that I've seen in Korean dramas and photograph myself in those scenes. That's my goal nowadays. That is going to be my goal for life. Question 15: what country most do you want to travel to? Most right now, South Korea. I love Korean dramas. I love Korean culture. I love the Korean language. Basically, like, there's a lot of things that Korean history is fascinating to me, and it's probably the country I want to visit the most, especially since recreating Korean drama scenes would work best. Probably where the Korean dramas are taking place at. So that's one of the countries I want to travel to. Which foreign language would you like to learn? I'd love to learn Korean. I self-study. I was self-studying for this year. It was a New Year's resolution to self-study, and I would actually be done with it if I kept up with it. But I did it for a little over 3 months in a 6-month program. So I got like halfway through the program, and then I just stopped. It was like I missed one day, and then I was like, "That's it." I've broken my streak on it, and I'm just gonna stop. It was like complete cold turkey. Stop on it. It was around the time that COVID-19 made us force us to go home, because when I would go to work in the morning, I would, like, my morning routine was I would get to work, start up my work environments, and while they were loading, I would do my Korean studies. So that's how it went. And ever since we had to come home, I basically just quit it cold turkey. It's weird how you can just quit things cold turkey like that. But yeah, that was one of the ones that I quit completely cold turkey. Just one day I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. And yeah. What's the most ticklish spot in your body? My feet. I hate it. I love to go get manicures and pedicures, but I can't. The only reason why I love doing it is because I love hanging out with the people that I go with to go do them. I love, you know, being invited to a girl's day out, and I'm like one of the only guys to go do it with them, or like even if it's like, girls day out, they invite their boyfriends, and I get to tag along. I think it's fantastic, but I hate it because, I love getting like feet rubs, my foot rub. I also love getting massages, and it sucks that like once you get down to my foot, that's it. I can't handle it. It is by far the most ticklish spot on my body, and I hate it because the things that I love to get done to my body is usually with my feet, and it sucks because like I do want to go try reflexology one day, and I know that they do it with their foot, like that's how you get it all done. People touching my feet, it feels weird, but it is something that I like. For some reason, it feels weird, but I enjoy it. So yeah, it's kind of like a two-way like double-edged sword in that fashion. When was the last time you really laughed out loud? Oh boy, it wasn't too long ago. Usually, why did I have to put it as laughed out loud? My friends make me laugh. I laugh pretty well with a couple of other people in my life. I think it definitely had to be with my friends. I make a lot of stupid comments when I'm talking with my friends, and they argue it, and they make their comments, and we keep going back and forth, and usually it is something that makes me laugh pretty hectically. And sometimes I'm going to judge really laughed out loud as times in which I have cried from laughing so hard. And usually it's a lot of conversations that I have with one of my good friends that I play Pokemon with. He makes me like I think he hates me. Like we come down to a lot of disagreements. I actually don't think he hates me, but we disagree on a lot of things. And because we disagree on a lot of things, that's why we have these fun conversations, and those conversations usually end up with me crying from laughing too hard. I know it sounds stupid, but that's kind of how it goes. What's your favorite joke? It definitely has to be like the Rodney Dangerfield football routine. I love his whole football routine, and I love it when he puts balloons up to indicate the shoulder pads, and he plays like a really really stupid character. And for playing a really really stupid character, he like grabs his he's like showing the audience all the different things you have to wear as a football player. And by doing so, like he's like, this is a cup. Now it ain't no Dixie cup, it ain't no coffee mug, and you sure as hell don't want to be drinking nothing out of it. And what you gotta do is you put it over your genitals, and it protects you. Go like this, and then he punches his dick like 3 times, and then he goes, "I got my cup on, and my testicles, I got my shoulder pads." And to me, that's like the best joke of all time. I love it so much. Definitely by far one of my most favorite jokes. Even though it's kind of stupid, it is by far one of my most favorite jokes. When is the last time you vomited and why? Last time I vomited, it was probably the night I drank a lot. There was a couple, like few last nights when I was in college that we were drinking nonstop. And those nights I threw up, and that's mostly just because I drank too much. So nothing like, oh my god, you threw up because you have water like sickness and stuff like that. No, it's because I was just too drunk and I couldn't hold it down much longer. Wow, this is just taking apart my team. Really, a slam miss. Okay. What's the first movie that made you laugh out loud? It's really any movie when I was young. I can't really recall. What's the person that made you cry? Like most movies make me cry. I can't recall. What was the first movie to do it? Almost all of them do it. You know, it gets to a sad point in the movie, I cry. Like I cried in it, like Harry Potter: Deathly Hallows Part 1. Why? I don't know. I did. Harry died where he went to like that heaven place. I was crying. Yeah, I cried during a lot of movies. So it's just something that happens. What's the most memorable book you've ever read? Probably the one that keeps coming up in my head nowadays is My Name is Asher Lev. I had to read it in 10th grade, or was it 10th grade? Yeah, it was 10th grade for my world culture, world literature class. So we called it Cult Lit. That's what we called it. I had to read My Name is Asher Lev, which is about is it a Hasidic Jew or an Orthodox Jew named Asher Lev who doesn't want to follow the Jewish religion anymore. He doesn't want to follow as strictly the Jewish religion anymore, and instead wants to become an artist, a painter, a Picasso-esque type painter. And it's all about his struggles of doing, basically becoming one, because he's not, like, his family's against it, because it's not complying with his religion. It's a good book in my opinion. It's the most memorable book because it's something that stuck with me. I was never one to read growing up, and even when I was in classes that forced you to read books, I wouldn't read the books. My Name is Asher Lev was one of the books that I read from start to finish. It was a highly enjoyable book. In that class, I also read Tale Two Cities, Frankenstein, Brave New World, and there was one other book that I just can't recall anymore. I don't know what it like. It was basically some Indian novel, I think, about a man going into like another world, fighting against some imaginary things. I can't really recall exactly what it was, but it was something along those lines. Yeah, I I honestly wouldn't be able to tell you. Even if people like told me the name of the book, I wouldn't even be like, oh yeah, that was a book. I honestly have no clue anymore. It was a weird book. It was the last book of the class too, so I probably wasn't really paying attention to that book whatsoever. Because it wasn't something that like I thought in my head, like, oh yeah, I'm going to remember this book for all my days now. So yeah. What's your favorite color? Green. Green's an earthy color. I love being trying to be green. The Earth is dying, or humans are over consuming Earth. So, but I do like green. Green has always been like a good color that I've enjoyed. It doesn't go with everything. I don't look good in green, but it is a color that I love. And I think it's because I love green eyes. People with green eyes, perfect. It is a perfect color for anyone. So yeah, that would be why. What song do you most associate with your childhood? Oh boy. There's a lot of songs I associate with my childhood, but the one that I most associate with my childhood, I think I'd probably have to say What I Didn't Know by Anti-Anthem. The reason why I say that is because, every single time it comes out, my dad always tells me, oh, did you know that this song is basically has the same chord structure and same sound structure as Surrender by Cheap Trick? So it's basically a 2-for-1, because Surrender by Cheap Trick is also another one from my childhood that, will always be imprinted on me. But every single time that I listen to What I Didn't Know, that fact comes into my head, and it makes me think of my family. Or at least it makes me think of like my childhood a bit. So that is probably the song I would say is the one that reminds me of my childhood, or I most closely associate with my childhood. The only other one would be "If You're Gone" by Matchbox 20, and that's because I used to listen to that all the time when I was in 10th grade dating a girl. I listened to it all the time because I feared she would break up with me one day, and uh, she did. Spoiler alert. And it was a song that like I, just fell in love with. I thought it was a great song. But she broke up with me for other reasons. It was mostly my fault. So, uh, spoiler alert, we're not together. What major historical event took place the year you were born? The year I was born. Oh boy, 1997. Historical event? Pokemon came out. I think that was actually probably 1996. Something came out that I historically, think of when I think of 1997. Oh, Final Fantasy VII. That's a major historical event in gaming, at least, because that was a game, a very highly popular game. So yeah, that's probably the one I most most historical event that took place when the year I was born. I honestly don't know otherwise. What era would you choose to live in if you could? Ooh, era I would choose to live in. Now, if I'm living in American era, like in America, because I live in America currently, if I were to continue living in America in any era that I choose, ooh, if I could only live for the good times and not the bad times, I'd probably go into the Roaring Twenties. Uh, I would also probably want to live in the I don't know. I want to say the Cold War, but then again, no. That's probably almost as bad as nowadays, except we don't have like there wasn't a pandemic going on back then. Uh, but for like just skeptical people, probably the same as it is nowadays. Boy, this is a hard one. But if it's any other sort of thing, I would love to go back to like feudalistic eras. Yeah, I'd probably be a peasant. Probably I wouldn't live long. uh, but yeah, it's probably a time period I want to live in. Also, probably back pre Civil War in America. I probably want to live in. Probably more towards like the Manifest Destiny section of it, where I'm heading over to the west, so I'm not really associated with anything else that's going on in America. Um, so yeah. Uh, what place would you first travel to if you could teleport? Antarctica. If I could teleport, I could just teleport to Antarctica. I would love to go there. Uh, my dad's been to that continent, and I want to say that I've been there too. So yeah, Antarctica. It's not a bad place in my opinion. Probably be pretty cool. And if the moment I start getting really really cold, I just teleport away. So yeah. What do you think about artificial intelligence? It is something I am learning. I had a conversation with my parents earlier today about it. Artificial intelligence is like a baby that you can grow from age 0 to age, I don't know, like 40 to the time of maturity. I guess age 40 is probably the time we all become mature. Um, do that within a matter of like minutes, depending on how fast your technology is for it. Um, but basically, it is nothing more than a child that you teach, positivity points and negative points, and you basically just try to make it at like the best child that you can make it to be. And sometimes it could take you like 200 to 1,000 generations of it being in existence for it to do what you want it to do. But basically, like it's basically like a child that you teach to live. I think it's cool. I think it's something that will probably you know start having a lot of different things, and then we won't be able to live without it, and then we'll run into like a Skynet type of issue from the Terminator. That's what I'm thinking. Wow, Oddish has Thunderbolt or Thunder. Scary. What's your opinion on fate? I hope it's not true. At least I'm not religious, and I hate the idea of predestined fate, where my life has already been like chosen out for me. Like there's a sure beginning and a sure end, and every event in between this has already been predetermined for me. I do not enjoy that. I think that is a horrible thing to think about, and that's one of the reasons why I really, really hate religion. Is people who believe in that. I really think that their viewpoints are messed up and should change, because predefined or predestined fate is a horrible thing to believe in, because at that point you are always making the excuse, this is what God wanted, this is what God has done for me, this is this is what has been passed on to me to do this day, and it could be something that is a horrible thing to do. So people can do really, really horrible things and just say it was something I was predestined to do. Now, when it comes to video games, it's a good plot point. So, I mean, I don't really particularly like it. And when people like talk about it, like, oh, fate brought us together and stuff like that, I look at them like the Daenerys Targaryen meme, like, did it really? Like, are you sure? Because to me, it's just sometimes it's just so stupid. And some things about it are just so idiotic. So I'm not. I can't say I'm a fan. I really hate the idea of predestined fate, and even like normal fate. Like, oh my God, fate brought us together. Like, if that happens, cool. You just so happen to be one of the luckiest people on the planet if you found like your soulmate. You were brought together with your soulmate really early on. Like, yeah, okay, cool. You were one of the lucky ones. Not going to say anything more on that. Do I believe in aliens? I believe we're not alone in our existence. The chance of being completely alone in our entire expansive universe, highly, highly, highly unlikely. Do I believe in aliens that would come to our planet eventually? If they haven't already, I'd be surprised if they don't. I assume there's probably smarter things out out there in existence than humans that can do interplanetary travel or something on those lines. And yeah, I definitely think that like there most likely are aliens. If they come to Earth, it's going to be a bad time because humans do not take kindly to other things. Humans are very territorial. So if they do end up coming to this planet, there's going to be a war, and that, to me, that would be the end of humankind. Have I ever seen a UFO? I can't say for certain that I've seen a UFO. My roommate, when I had one a couple months back, he called me out one night to go outside and look into the sky and see that some stars were moving like really, really fast across the sky. And they actually were, it wasn't an actual like thing like, oh, these stars have additional lights that are blinking on them. No, they had nothing. It was a literal just straight line, just moving slowly, but it was moving faster than the Earth was spinning. Like you could tell within a minute, like it's moved from point A to point B, and it was a pretty long distance from point A to point B. But I can't say for certain that it was a UFO. So I don't think many people can say for certain that, oh yeah, that was a UFO. It'd be pretty cool if it was so. At least in my opinion. What's the question? Is there anything about yourself you've never told another soul? I don't think so anymore. I'm usually a pretty open book to people. When I first started dating a girl in high school, she invited me over. Our first date was at her house, actually, at her place, and her mom cooked fried chicken for us, which was fantastic. You know, for someone to cook fried chicken, one, that's an amazing feat. That you're not working at KFC and you're able to make fried chicken at home, like amazing on you. Secondly, during that, I was asked about my lifestyle at home, or like my home life, and I just spilled all the beans. I was like, yeah, this and that. But basically, that first time, I just laid. I was like, here are all my messed up flaws. I just laid them all on the table. I was like, yep, that's me. Nice to meet you. Have a good night. And that's how that went. That relationship basically started off pretty, pretty bad, in my opinion. But yeah, I'm a pretty open book, so I don't think there's anything I've never told another soul. Like, even when it comes to like just normal weird thoughts, I tell most likely my close friend. Do I have any skeletons in the closet? No, I don't. I'm not trying to hide anything. There's nothing I want to hide. I want to have secrets from people, but every single time I do get a secret, like, I'm horrible at keeping them. So I just tell other people. So I have no skeletons in the closet. I have nothing to hide from it. Currently. What living celebrity do you most identify with? I don't know. I don't even know like how to answer that question. What celebrity I most identify with? And the next question is, which dead celebrity do you most identify with? I don't know. But I have no clue. If you could be famous for something, what do you wish it would be? I could be famous for something. What do I want it to be? Man. Oof. That's a tough one. I don't know. If I could be famous for anything, what would it be? Oh boy. People are famous for like the stupidest things nowadays too. I honestly don't know what I want to be famous for. I guess this is probably something like I can do. Man, this is a tough question. If I could be famous for something, what do you wish it would be? I guess putting the minimum amount of work into something and still getting a good end result. Yeah, that would be what I would say. I don't know how to answer that question. If I could be famous for anything, I'd want to be famous for not being known to be famous. Do the whole Shia LaBeouf not famous anymore type of deal. Which I guess is infamous. I guess that's what that word is. So yeah, that's probably what I'd say. How would you spend $100 million? A majority of it would go to charity, actually. I don't like having money. Or I don't like having a lot of money. I like having enough that I can flaunt, and having enough that, makes me worthwhile to be around. But I don't want to have a ton of money like that. If I have $1 million just sitting, something's wrong. No, I don't believe I should have $1 million sitting. And 100 million at that? No. There are more deserving people on this planet that need that money. So I would probably put that into the community more than anything. I can't handle having money. Not that like I have a problem with having money. No, I have no problem with having money. I just don't think anyone should have really over $1 million. It's just sitting, waiting to be spent. Now, if it's invested in something cool, your money is in something. You've basically spent that. It's somewhere, but technically you still hold value of it, of $1 million. That's great. That's fine. But if you have $1 million just sitting in your bank account, something's wrong. It should go somewhere. It should be dedicated to something at least. That's my thought process on it. If you won the lottery tomorrow, what would be your very first expense? A new computer. Maybe a soda. I don't know. Probably a soda. Well, realistically, that'd probably be my first expense, buying a soda at a convenience store. Yeah. What's the most ridiculous thing you've ever done? Oh. Boy. When I get drunk, I like to go out walking on my own, out running. It's a weird thing. But drunk Kyle definitely enjoys being outside. Like, I believe that I'll die one day just from hypothermia or being lost somewhere, just because I went outside drunk and I stayed out all night, not knowing where I was. That'll most likely be how I die. I don't understand how dig hits. Oh wait, because I don't levitate as an ability. What's the biggest misstep you've ever taken? Biggest misstep, basically meaning that something that I did brought me to some wrong thing to do, but I ultimately corrected myself and did it and did something. Probably my first college that I went to. I went to a very highly expensive college in Boston, and it was probably my biggest misstep. But I made the most of it. I have friends I still talk to this day from that college, and I've been introduced to a lot more friends that I can consider, people that are my best friends from that college, and I talk to them on a daily basis. They are people that I probably could not live without anymore. So I can't say that it's a regret of mine going to that college, but it is probably the biggest misstep I've ever taken, because it took I went into massive debt for it, and I took a year off of college. I took a gap year from it, but I don't think it was really that big of a misstep, because I found out what the issue was. I got a job during that year off, and I went back to school the following year after the gap year, and I knew exactly what I wanted to do. I knew exactly what my game plan was, and I did it. I went through all my game plan. So I wouldn't say it was my biggest misstep, but it was. Well, I would say it's my biggest misstep, but it's not something I regret doing. It's something I highly enjoy doing, and if I made the same decision again, I would make it in a heartbeat. I would do it again. It has been a great time since I've gone there. It, definitely helped me figure out where I wanted to go in my life. So I would say, it wasn't a bad thing, but it definitely was a misstep. I could have done better earlier on. So, what is your biggest life regret? My biggest life regret right now? Oof. What do I regret most? Probably, I guess I would probably still state that my biggest life regret was how I treated, how the relationship went with my girlfriend from 10th grade. Probably my biggest regret. Other than that, I've been trying to live pretty well off. Not have any other regrets. I try not to regret any decisions that I make. Most of my decisions that I make are made with some thought processes. Probably the girl in 8th grade. She was probably the one that I did. Her and I were not good together for one another, and that's one that I probably is the biggest life regret. And it's mostly because how I treated them and how they treated me. It all comes down to all my regrets mostly come down to how I've treated others and how others have treated me. If I could domesticate any animal in the world, which would you pick? I would domesticate a red panda. I would love to own a red domesticated panda. Those things are cute as all like cute beyond belief. They look fantastic. They look cute and cuddly. To me, they are fantastic animals. And I only just noticed that I am over time. It is 35 minutes in, and I only just looked over at it. I've been having a great time answering these questions. It is a lot of fun. But yeah, I am 35 minutes over. I am 5 minutes over. So I'm going to end it right here. Thank you all for watching. If you want to watch more, please watch some more. They come out every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. If you like this and you actually want to come to my Twitch and ask me some questions that I can answer like these, definitely come over to my Twitch. I stream Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 6:30 p.m. to about 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. And I would stream Saturdays as well. I've been trying to do it more often, but some Saturdays I just like to chill out, watch TV, enjoy life. And some Saturdays I like to go hang out with people in person. Even with all this COVID-19, I try to go out and throw a football or throw a frisbee with some friends. So, catch me up on the streams, watch some of my other videos. Put questions in the comments below, and I'll answer them to the best of my ability. Again, sometimes I just don't know how to answer a question. Yeah, I'll catch you guys next time.